Texans head coach David Culley. That's according to our own Dan Graziano, which one might think was a positive development. Or not. So let's get right to Graz. What more can you tell us about this meeting between the new Texans head coach and the, for now, Texans franchise quarterback?
I feel it was not a positive development. I'm told that in that conversation, Deshaun Watson let it be known to his new head coach that he did not want to play for the Texans, has no intention of playing for the Texans, and still wants to be traded. Everything we have heard from Deshaun Watson's side this offseason remains true. The hiring of David Culley hasn't changed that. The hiring of Nick Caserio hasn't changed that. The division runs deeper, and Deshaun Watson has made it clear to the Texans that he doesn't want to be there.
And of course, as we know right now, the reports are out there that the Texans are not taking any calls on Deshaun Watson, their star quarterback, but we exclusively at NFL Live obtained some leaked voicemails left by teams with their offers. Have a listen.
Hey, Nick, Jack, Cal, it's Dan Orlovsky reaching out. The fellas in New York asked me to give you guys a call. Listen up, every year someone comes out looking like a donkey. Do you hear me? If you guys don't do this deal tomorrow, that's going to be you. This is our package, okay? We're going to give you Sam Darnold, young player. We think he's got a really bright future at the quarterback spot. We're going to give you our 2 1s this year. We're going to give you our 1 in next year. Just because we really want to make this happen, we're going to give you 2 tickets to Hamilton, front row. We're also going to throw in a night in Kevin McAllister's suite at the Plaza Hotel in New York City. Listen, I'm on television till 5 o'clock Eastern time, but give me a call after that. Let's chat and just say yes.
Mina, those Hamilton tickets are legit. What did you make of Dan's pitch on behalf of the Jets?
Well, I think that much like Sam Darnold, those Hamilton tickets were probably a little bit more valuable a few years ago, Dan. I will say, I will say this. I think the Jets, your offer should be considered, and the Jets should be in contention because no matter what Houston does, they need to get a top pick in this draft because next year's quarterback draft, not as good. You need to have the opportunity to go after Wilson, Fields, or Lance now. Any pick that isn't in the top, honestly, 8 or higher should not even be under consideration. So I think the New York Jets should at least be in contention for Watson.
Yeah, I like the 2 pick. It allows me to get any quarterback I want in the draft other than Trevor Lawrence. And I like the fact that there's 2 1s this year. And, I have Darnold just in case it doesn't work out with the quarterback I take. The 2022 first rounder, great, but I'm trading you Deshaun Watson. I'm not thinking that's going to be as high a pick as you have this year, so maybe not. And I think the Houston Texans are going to want more than just picks. I think they're going to want a player or 2. And I'm talking about a good young player that you drafted sometime in the past couple of years. I'm talking about a Quinnen Williams or Mekhi Becton type of guy. That's how high I think the Texans are going to value Deshaun Watson when and if they put him on the market.
Well, first of all, you guys are overlooking the Plaza Hotel suite. Like, we get to go to the Plaza Hotel.
I'm not.
I can sit there and order very service, get the huge sundae, tip people with fruit striped gum. I mean, that there's a lot into that deal. Here's where I am with this whole stinking situation, okay? At some point, listen, being stubborn is good. I get it, Houston. Being selfish is bad. And at some point, the selfishness and the greed of we're not going to do it because of X is going to hurt your organization, right? And I get it, Graz. Like, the first-round picks aren't just enough. But if I'm the Jets, I'm still sitting there going, okay, I'm not giving you Mekhi Becton. Let me make myself clear. You ain't getting Mekhi Becton. Quinnen Williams, we could have a conversation on. I know he's great. I know it. But we can have a conversation on. At the end of the day, I still think the Jets and the Dolphins should be who Houston should be going after when it comes to trying to get as much capital as they can to replace Deshaun Watson. And the last thing I'd say is this, guys. If Deshaun, this is a 2 or 3 year rebuild in Houston, right? Deshaun's going to play great for the next 2 or 3 years. Then you're going to have to repay him before the rebuild ever gets done. Okay? So it's like you've got to be smart business savvy here as an organization.
So, Dan Graziano, I'm going to have you break the tie here. Dan Orlovsky is pitching Sam Darnold as an asset in this deal. Mina made it clear how she feels about Sam Darnold right now. Do you believe that Sam Darnold would be attractive, alluring to the Texans, or is that nothing more than trade filler?
I would say I believe there are teams out there that would consider Sam Darnold an interesting idea. I don't know for sure if the Texans would be one, but you're talking about a player who's 6 months younger than Joe Burrow, who was the first pick in last year's draft. There is still room for growth with Sam Darnold, and he hasn't had health. He hasn't had consistency at the head coaching position, at the offensive coordinator position. I think that's a guy that some teams have some level of interest in this offseason, yes.
Well, the good news is we're not done because we did some deep digging, easy enough for me to say, and we came across one more leaked voicemail. Have a listen.
Hey, Nick, Cal, Jack, whoever else is running the show over there. This is Mina Khan. I'm calling on behalf of Miami. I don't like voicemails, so I'll be quick. We will give you picks number 3 and 18 in this year's draft, and our first next year, and Tua, who was, of course, top pick last year, got a ton of upside and years left on his rookie deal. Not only is that a ridiculous haul, Deshaun actually wants to come here, so it'll go down smooth. And speaking of that, we'll also throw in bottle service at Live, even with the little sparklers and everything. Hit me back, preferably over text. Really don't like voicemails. Thanks, bye.
All right, Dan Orlovsky is our resident club expert. Your thoughts on the offer there from the Dolphin?
The voicemail thing Mina has been stuck on for days. Second of all, you guys, did you catch
the voicemails?
Bye. Not bye, but bye. I agree with you on the voicemail. Never had bottle service, so I don't, again, Mina's got the nice house with the security and whatnot, and so I'm just a simple guy that has to go place an order if I want it and hopefully kind of work my way through the crowd. I love the Miami situation. You gave up 3 ones and Tua, so somewhat situation to the Jets. I guess it comes down to, does Houston want to go and enjoy themselves in Miami, or do they want to go enjoy themselves in New York City? I'm a New York City guy more than I am a Miami guy when it comes to nightlife and the and the enjoyment of that. That's all I say. I like your offer.
I'm not buying the idea of I'm just a simple guy from a guy that does costume changes during NFL Live. I just think that's a little bit of a reach. But I think when you look at this offer, you have to, if you're the Texans, the question is, do I like Tua Tagovailoa better than Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, whoever I'm going to end up taking with that high pick that you gave me? And if that answer is yes, then I think this becomes a very, very valuable offer, more so than Darnold, who's only under control for 1 more year. Tua you have for longer than that, and you have time to develop him. So I think it's a better offer than the Jets' offer was. But again, I think Houston is going to ask for players in addition to picks. And I think, while I know Tua is one, I'm not sure him alone would be enough to get it done with the picks.
Well, Mina, I'll bring it back to you. You mentioned the picks before Tua. A year ago, we were talking about tanking for Tua. Should he be a stronger selling point as part of this deal than just the 4th piece of the equation?
Well, he's certainly a stronger selling point than Darnold, not because of their abilities. Tua's more of a question mark, though Darnold is a question mark as well. But because of their contracts, Stan, you're going to have to pay Sam Darnold soon. Tua's only got 1 year of his rookie contract underway. So even if Houston were to like a Zach Wilson or a Justin Fields, Tua is still an asset that, I'd hate this for him, frankly, to get moved again, but they could potentially move him again. And I want to emphasize one other thing that we skipped over with my voicemail. By all accounts, Deshaun actually wants to go to Miami. Do not forget the no trade clause. If they're able to get a deal done with the Dolphins, it could go a lot smoother than it would with some other trade partners.
Yeah, an interesting thing, too, with all this is relationships. Mina, you bring up the great point of Deshaun wanting to go to Miami. So, how do the relationships between maybe his representatives and Miami and the conversations? Hey, guys, he really wants to go there. Your defense is really good. Can you throw in another player that I understand is a good player, but let's get Deshaun there, and figure out a way that we can kind of work this out for both sides and kind of get those relationships really going kind of behind the scenes that we don't get to see a ton to make it happen.
It is going to be a long, meticulous process to eventually pry Deshaun Watson away from Houston. but those two teams have the most draft capital. We have time for one more thing here on NFL Live, and perhaps a first. Panelists making a wardrobe change. Speedy Dan Orlovsky